All right, you guys, we're live on YouTube, and today is July the 10th, 2022. Y'all, 10 days have already gone into our brand new year, Mary Kay. Can y'all believe that? So now there's only, instead of 365 days left, there's 355 days left. So hopefully somebody has set a goal or decided what you're going to do for this new year. So tonight, I just wanted to talk a little bit about goal setting, and I have a little sheet that I'm gonna kind of go over with you guys. But one of the things that I thought before I got started, I thought, what does the Bible say about goal setting? You know, that the Bible is full of all kind of leadership tips, and I have a Bible. It's called it's a regular Bible, but it's the John Maxwell Bible or Leadership Bible. And all through the Bible has leadership tips. It's on that book on the 21 laws, irrefutable laws of leadership. And it all goes with different stories in the Bible and how you can learn so much about leaders in the Bible. And so anyway, I thought, let me look up some verses, and you guys could jot these down if you want to. I've always found that, we know the Bible is true, right? So anything in it is going to be helpful for us. And so here's a couple verses that I found about goal setting before we get started. So Proverbs 21:5, it says, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. So when I was reading that one, I thought, all right, so what does that mean? First of all, you have to have a plan, right? And you have to be diligent. And if you just sit around and wish and wonder about it, you're going to lead to poverty, which we don't want, right? Okay, Philippians 3:13 through 14. Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it my own, but one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind, Seminar 2022, and straining toward what lies ahead, Seminar 2023. I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. And so I think this is an important one too, because either you had a great year last year and you're celebrating and you're just fired up, or you're like, once again, I did not meet my goals. Okay, you might be feeling somewhere in the middle of that. But the truth is, you cannot change the past. We all know you cannot change the past. So you have to just let go. And whether you were massively successful, hopefully you built some momentum up like we talked about all in June. Or this is a chance to start over and just forget what you did or did not do. And we're going toward a new year and everything can be different. We've seen that in people that go from doing great things that, I gotta hit a little do not disturb here, but I guess I can't. Doing great things from the year before. You're like, how did they go from that to this? There's a director, and she is from Georgia. I don't know her personally yet. I've talked to her on Boxer, but she went from her. This is her. I think she's been in Mary Kay over 20 years. This is her very first year to do the top director trip, and if she didn't go all the way to million. So she went from, I don't know what unit club she did last year, but it wasn't 650. So she increased even if she did 600 last year, which I don't think she did, but even if she did that, that's increasing $400,000. And I think it was more than that. So I can't wait to hear her story on the top director trip. Her name's Kelly Freeman. Well, I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about her, but she made a new thought, whatever she did, the beginning of July, and decided I'm going for it this year. And she earned that top director trip. She finished like in March and then ended up doing the million. Unbelievable. Okay, 2 Chronicles 15:7 says, but you take courage. Do not let your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. And the key I got in that verse is that you have to have WORK. So your work will be rewarded. So you have to put some effort into something to get the rewards out. Habakkuk 2:2 through 3. This is a favorite one of Mary Kay's, and it's a favorite one of a lot of Mary Kay directors and consultants. It says, and the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. For still the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end. It will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. And the key to this verse is write the vision And he said to make it plain on tablets. That's what they wrote on back in those days. So when we say, I mean, like you can have a goal in your head, but something about putting it to a piece of paper really does help it come alive, and then reading it and saying it and looking at it every day. Okay. Psalms 37:4 says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Okay. So the Lord knows what the desires of your heart is, right? And so he will give you those. Philippians 4:13. And this is one of my favorite verses. I absolutely love it. It's, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And so you may look and think, I don't think I can do it. And you may not can, but you can do it through Christ. You can do all things, so that he is going to be there behind you when you commit your plans to the Lord. Proverbs 24:27 says, prepare your work outside. Get everything ready for yourself in the field. And after that, build your house. And so, what I like in that verse is prepare your work outside. And so I just think that's to be prepared. Luke 14:28 says, for which of you desiring to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? And so what that is, anytime you're doing anything, like Brad and I are in the process of trying to sell a house, we're going to buy another one and redo some things. And we will have to get a budget of how much it's going to cost to go forward with the plans that we want to do for the remodel, right? We wouldn't just go, yeah, just spend whatever you want. We have to have a budget, right? You plan it ahead of time. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your path. Matthew 19:26 says, but Jesus looked at them and said, this is another one from the same one, like Philippians 4:13. But Jesus looked at them and said, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. And just a couple of more. Let's see. Okay, I like really this one. I've heard sermons on this. It's Isaiah 54:2. And it said, enlarge the place of your tent. Let the curtains of your habitations be stretched out. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords, strengthen your stakes. In other words, stretch your mind, stretch what you think you possibly can do. Prepare for growth is what this kind of tells me. That, and it's kind of like, have you ever heard of Mary Kay, get your systems in place? Like, could you handle 50 new Miracle Set customers with what you're doing right now? Or like if you're a director, could you handle 50 new unit members to come in your unit this month? Would you know what to do with new consultant packets, how you would do your training and things like that? So prepare for that growth. And then Ecclesiastes 5:3 says, for a dream comes with much business and a fool's voice with many words. So I thought that was pretty good. Like, there are a lot of people who talk, and then they do nothing. Okay. Like, action speaks louder than words, right? So that's what I got on that one. And so I got to do a little do not disturb here. My phone is blowing up with my husband in there with a group text. Y'all ever have that? And you're like, get me off the group text. Okay. The last one I'm going to do is, it says James 4:13-15. It says, come now, you who say today or tomorrow, we will go into such and such town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. For what is your life? For you're a mist that appears a little time, then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. So anything that we're going to try to do this year, we want it to be in the Lord's will. And, that's why sometimes we say, Lord willing, we're going to do some, whatever we're going to do. And so I just thought there were some good verses. You may pick out a verse and just type it out, maybe put it on your computer screen or wherever you look on your refrigerator, and kind of focus on that. Have a verse for your year, for these next 6 months to get you going. And so one of the things that I'm going to talk to you about, and this is from a sales director named Carol Scholes, and I thought it was really some great tips on goal setting for this year. And the first one is 6 parts of a goal. Okay, it's wow, how, now, ouch, vow, and pow. Those are the 6 parts. So the first one is wow. And that's like tonight and maybe last week. It's the excitement of a goal. You're like, I'm doing it. You get excited, right? Maybe somebody or something inspired you. Maybe you saw someone else do it and you're like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going to put it down here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm doing it. Okay. So you're super excited. And then the how is when you go, okay, let me break it down. So I was laying there today, and I'll say laying there because I like to take a little siesta after church on Sundays. It's just what I do. And so if you've never tried it, it really does help you. If all of you are about to fall asleep during the Boss Babe call, take you a little nappy poo after church and after lunch. But I was laying there and I thought, okay, if you want to do $1 million this year, how much wholesale is that? Do you even know how much wholesale is that? And so I'm laying in the bed and I'm going, okay, like 12 months. If I did, okay, 12 times 10 is like 1.2 million. Okay, it's not going to be 50,000 a month. It's going to be less than that. I'm like, anyway, and so I'm sitting there trying to figure out, how much, and so, if I want to do $1 million, let's say that's 50,000. I mean, that's $500,000 divided by 12 months is 41,667 cents. Each month wholesale. That's the goal. So you might as well say, $41,667. That's the goal each month to do $1 million. Now they may do some double credit months, so you could do it with less, but that is the bottom line. But if I don't even know how much, I'm like, I don't know how much you have to do $1 million. I don't know. I just know I'm going to do it. Well, that's not too, like if you want to earn the use of a car in Mary Kay and you don't even know what it takes to get on target for the car, there's probably a good fat chance you're not going to make it, right? So you have to kind of get a plan of how you're going to achieve whatever goal it is. If you want to let's say you want to get in your red jacket and you have 0 recruits. And Mary Kay, we've always said, you got to talk to really 3 to 5 people to get one person. And so let's just say 5, put the odds for you instead of against you. So you need to talk to probably 15 people to get your three team members. And so if you don't know that and you're thinking, well, I'm just going to talk to 3 and 3 will sign. And sometimes it happens. I mean, and that's exciting, but it's not going to happen that way for me or for you. Right. And so I wish I would have had probably 25 recruits last month if everybody had told me yes. But guess what? I probably talked to 25 people and I end up having 7 new team members last month, 6 or 7. Anyway, so what is that? It's about an average of 3 or 4 per person 1 out of 3 or 4 people. And I've been in 36 years. So look at your average and that's what you're going to have to do. So you got to have a little plan. And then the 3 is the now. Once you have a plan, you have to be excited. You have a plan. Then you just do it. That's the now. Just do it. Start with your plan. So if the plan is to get in your red jacket and you're like, I've got to talk to 5 people. I got to do that this week. So the start is one person. Ask one person if you could talk to about Mary Kay and just start. That's the do it now. And then number 4 is ouch. And that's when maybe you haven't had success or you have a setback and it's do it anyway. Okay. So you got wow, how, now, and then ouch is do it anyway. Like, even though it doesn't appear to be working, keep going. And then number 5 is about that you commit to reach the goal. You're not going to give up just because you've had setbacks. You're going to stay determined to the end. And, I'm not kidding you. It happens to all of us toward the end of the goal period. Like ours was the seminar year. You could start talking to yourself in a crazy way in your mind. Like, it didn't really matter. I've had a hard year. I really didn't want that goal anyway. It's no big deal. I mean, people aren't going to hate me if I don't make it. I mean, people don't always make their goal. You start saying all this stuff, or you can flip it and go, nope, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let myself off the hook. I'm not going to take the easy way out. And then 6, of course, is PAL, and that's the victory. So those are the little stages and the little parts. And so you'll have to decide where you are in those parts. Most of us right now are in the wow. We're in the excitement of a goal and the how, the plan. And then now we got to start with the now and start working it, right? And then, so one of the things on here talks about why even set a goal. So there's like 8 little points of that. It says, number 1, when goals are set, things start to happen. When goals are set, things start to happen. Number 2, goals make you feel good about yourself. especially when you have a purpose, you wake up and think, okay, why am I going to do this? Because I have goals. I have a goals. Goals, number 3, goals provide attitude adjustments. And you can use this not in just your Mary Kay. I'm looking at my friend Sayla up here, and she has like fitness goals. You know, she had a goal to have her legs look like Carrie Underwood. And, you know, she is achieving it day by day. And so, and to have her fitness level be so high that she could do being a bodybuilder contest if she wanted to. Okay. And so not that she's going to, but she could. And so she has goals. She's added. So goals provide attitude adjustments. Goals establish self-discipline and motivation. You know, you do have to be self-disciplined to achieve any kind of goal, whether it is fitness or, you know, weight loss, or it's in your business. And so number 5, goals give you a direction and purpose. Number 6, goals take you to where you want to go. Number 7, goals create good habits and patterns to follow. And number 8, a goal will eliminate others from controlling your life. Now, I really like that one, because if you really have a goal, then other people try to deter you and go, hey, you want to, and you're like, nope. You know, you have your goal of what you're doing, what you're going to set your do, and you're not going to let everybody else just run your life for you. Because the problem is sometimes, you know, when you have nothing to do, other people have things that you could do, right? And it's like, well, I can't do this because so-and-so wants me to keep her kids. And these are all good things, or what, all the different things that people want you to do. And they're all great. And if you have time, that's great. But if you have some goals, then you say, oh, I can't do that tonight. I would love to help you, but maybe I can do it another time next week because I have this I've got to do, right? It's not like you just have to have some things in place that you know are non-negotiable for you. And so let's talk about how goals could be a little bit negative. You hate to think this, but they can be negative if your goals are too big. Now you might think, oh, dream big, you can't dream big enough. Too big is like if they're unachievable. For example, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I had a goal and I said, but my timeline was way off. I said, I want to be a national sales director by the end of the month. That's my goal. Well, you guys, that's not possible, because you have to have a certain number of directors under you. They all have to have done a certain number of things. And when you're not even in qualification, you can't finish by that deadline. So that goal would be unachievable, way off. And it would not even make sense to say it. So let's say you're saying, I want to be a director by the end of the month, and you're not in director qualification. Unachievable. You have to be in DIQ first. You have to submit a letter to the company before you become a sales director. So you've got to look through some things like that about timelines and deadlines of what is possible as far as when you can achieve these goals. And even things like if you think in real life, not business, let's say I want to lose 40 pounds by Friday. Most people would say that is not a good idea to lose 40 pounds in 5 days, right? I mean, you could cut off my leg or something and lose 40 pounds. But besides cutting off a body part, that would not be very achievable. So that's what it means if you say goals are too big. You want to look at it and is it achievable? And is the timeline right for what you're trying to do? Number 2 is if they're out of your sphere of interest. If you're setting a goal that you're not even really that interested in, you're setting it for someone else. Number 3 is you believe that there would be luck necessary to arrive at your destination of your goal. Like you really couldn't do it through hard work. You would have to have luck to get there. That could be negative. Number 4 is you set your goal by comparing yourself with others' accomplishment. So maybe your girlfriend did this, so that's why you're going to set your goal for that. It's not really your goal. It's just that she did it. So, you're comparing yourself. And then the last one is that the goal is that you're doing it for someone else. And I've seen this many times in my Mary Kay as a sales director. Like I have a goal for one of my unit members and I want her to do this. And it's really not her goal, but because she loves me and doesn't want to disappoint me, she says, yes, that's my goal. When really in her heart of hearts, it's not her goal. She just wants to please me. And that's never going to work, because if she doesn't do it for herself, when push comes to shove, when it's that crunch time, she's not going to do it. So you have to pick a goal that is for yourself, not for someone else. And then these are reasons people don't want to set goals. All right. They're not sold on the benefits. They feel it's safer not to set a goal. They fear commitment, failure, or success. If you have a goal, then you have to commit to doing a certain amount. So then you might not want to be accountable, right? Or if you might fear failure, like, well, if I don't set and say anything, like as a sales director, let's say I don't even set a unit club goal, because then that way no one will know if I didn't make it, because I never told anybody I was doing it anyway. So you're kind of afraid of failure on that one. And then you might be afraid of success. Like, well, what if I get there? And I've heard people say this, what if I get that pink Cadillac and then I can't keep it? I would just be mortified. That's being afraid of success. Like, you're going to get it, but then you can't keep it. So now that we know we got to set goals and kind of why, these are a couple of steps that you can take. And then we'll kind of open it up to the sales director, so you guys kind of be thinking about this. So first of all, you want to know that one step is you want to know exactly what you want and be very specific. A goal is not, I want to make a lot of money in Mary Kay, because you cannot measure that to see if you made it. Or I want to get a lot of recruits this year, a lot of recruits. And I want to make a lot of money, get a lot of recruits, and have a lot of unit members. That is not a goal. That's just like flowery speech. It has to be very specific. Aim high. You should have some butterflies, and it should stretch your limits. You know, a goal for me, if I said, okay, let me just give you an example. So like last year, let's say our unit did 650,000, our unit. I did 25 qualified team members last year. Okay. And then I sold, I'll just tell you, I'm telling all tonight. So my retail was like 50,000. So if I said my goal next year is to do 650,000, the quarter sales and the quarter sharing. I mean, y'all, I just did that. So that does not stretch me at all, right? I mean, to say I'm going to do, my goal is to do the exact same thing I did last year, even though it would not be a bad goal. Now, can I triple star again is different, because I'd have to get 25 more new people, right? But to do the exact same would not be a big accomplishment. It's just the same. So you want to stretch yourself. You want to create visuals. The subconscious mind accepts all information as fact and cannot distinguish between what is real and what's imagined or believed. So you want to do visuals, like get a picture of your red jacket, put your head on it and look at it, and so you can see yourself in your red jacket. If you're going for directorship, print out a piece of paper with the new directorship, or get on the computer and, Photoshop your little head in the picture of a new directorship. You may even have a new body by the time you get done, right? You're like, I look good in that. I just like, I'm taller and thinner, right? But whatever your goal is, make a picture of it so that your subconscious mind starts to believe it. Involve your family members and let them find out what's in it for them when you make this goal. And I've seen this a lot with families, women that have children, and say, when mama reaches this, we're going to do this. So my goal is to do this, and we're going to do this. My goal is to earn the use of the pink caddy, and we're all going to get in it and have a road trip and go to wherever, Disney World, right? But some little something that the children and everybody else can be excited about it too, and the husband too. For my husband, I'm like, I'm doing this so we can go to Scotland. That's a reward for both of us, because he gets to go with me, right? So there's some things like that. Pick someone to emulate that you're what you're going for. Someone you're like, look, I'm gonna like someone to emulate, someone that has been where you are trying to go. Define where you are. Goals must be big according to your ability. Determine what you're capable of in one day, in 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 year. So how many phone calls could you make in a day, or how many faces could you see in a week, a month, a year? What is your capability of how many with what you got going on, and maybe things you cannot eliminate? You're like, okay, I work 8 hours a day, so that is out. I have a job. I'm not fixing to quit my job right this second, right? So I have this many hours. This is what I could do. I am capable of doing this along with my other obligations to my family. And then decide that in advance of what you're going to do. Focus on your goal daily. If the goal is not focused on in 3 days, It's as if it never existed. That was one I just wanted to circle and highlight because sometimes we make our goal at seminar. And if we don't come home and in 3 days after we've been home from seminar have done nothing toward the goal, it's as if we did not set the goal. So I want y'all to really think about that. What goal have you set and then never didn't do anything toward the goal? So guess what? You got to set another one because it's as if you didn't even set that one. Okay. And then you've heard this a million times, focus, follow one course until successful. So pick something and stay with that one thing instead of going off into 10 rabbit trails, you know? And so in Mary Kay is kind of cool because everything leads to everything. Like if you set a FACES goal, obviously that would lead to more sales, more team members, more recruiting, you know, but decide kind of what track you're going to run on and go for that one thing instead of getting so distracted of too many things. Quitting is not an option. So that's it. Quitting is not an option. And then very important, especially for us at this time of year, is setting a goal, set another goal immediately after you reach a goal. So a lot of times I've seen people become a sales director and they're working their little, tush off for those 3 to 4 months. And then when they're finished, they did not set that next goal. So it just kind of like fizzles out. And then what they were doing just kind of because they did not set that next goal. Now, Mary Kay tries to help that where they have the different lead strong, all the different things for a new director on her first year. They set some goals up for new directors. But the same thing, like with your red jacket, as soon as you get that red jacket, you got to set that next goal, team leader, and so you've got to just kind of go straight to the next one. As soon as you win that Chevy Malibu, you got to set that goal for the next car. And then the pink Cadillac, or even skip a car, but you got to just go right back into it. And so sometimes you feel like I never get a break. That's okay. You can sleep later when you're really old and you can't get out of the bed. You're going to sleep a lot. So don't worry about it. Get up now while you can, because there'll be days that you're like, if I could only get up, So that's kind of what I was thinking tonight. What I did this week is I have a marker board, and I'd like to show it to you, but it's where I can see it every day, and it is nailed to the wall. Okay. And so I erased everything off the board. I took all the Scotland stuff down, all my posters. I love them, but I did it. So I just took them down and I got a clean board. And so what I did, like, this is just for sales directors. I have 4 columns. In one column, it says new consultants in their great start qualified months, because one of the things I wanted to do is keep up a little bit better about my consultants that are in their 4 months, which really they could get all that free extra product by team building and by their wholesale orders. So I want to keep up with, so I have like all the people that are in their month 2. This would be all the people that signed up last month. And then the people that are in month 3 and month 4. So the month 4 people, I know I need to make some calls, say, hey, now listen, you're in your last month of your great start. Let me help you get a new team member, and kind of maximize that great start. Because that's one of the areas I look back and I thought, I didn't work that as much as I think I could have and should have for these new consultants to get the maximum of free products and bonuses during that 4 months. And that's one thing that I want to do better with this next year. And then I have a column that has all of my red jackets, and then a column with all of my senior consultants. And so that I know, okay, those seniors are the ones that I really want to look at, and who of those seniors has a desire to move up into the red jacket spot. Because another thing that I look back at my year, and you just have to evaluate. And one of the things that I feel like could have been way better is how many red jackets I got last year. And it just was like really lacking. And so in my mind, I thought, for me to grow this year, the 2 of the things I want to look at is to increase the number of red jackets and do a better job at the Great Start promotion, the new people's 4 months of maximizing great starts. So new red jackets and maximizing great starts. Those are the things. And it's funny, in our Mary Kay National area, we have a monthly call. And the things that they recognize are the things that Mary Kay wants us to grow in, which is most of the time, the things that the company is lacking. That's what they focus on, right? And it's new red jackets, obviously new recruits, but new red jackets and great start qualified people. And so those are the things. And then I have a column that has, it just says seminar 2023, personal, new personals. And I have 1 through 24 right there so that I can keep up with that. So that's one of my goals as a sales director to look at that. And then I have personal goals too, as far as my own sales and things like that. And of course, the wholesale will go with that as far as like, $1 million a year. So what I'm saying is you've got to write it down somewhere. Every single time I sit here, I can just glance my eyes and look over there. And I can see it every single day, many, many times a day. I used to have it behind me and it showed up in all the videos, which is awesome. But I never looked at it unless I was doing a video, and then I couldn't read it because it was backwards, right? So you got to do, and it's also good to do just one you can hold and maybe take to your meetings or show. But get you a little goal poster and do a little poster of what you want to do. And I would kind of look at the quarter, July, August, September, of what you want to accomplish in this first quarter. And then look at the Mary Kay reward systems and how you can win. And then, you want a year goal and then a quarterly, and then, break it down to your monthly and your weekly and even daily. Okay. And then so that you know what you're going for. And as a director, your unit members should know what your unit goal is. If they don't, you haven't communicated that real awesome, So that's kind of what I had on my mind this morning. And so I'm going to bring just a couple of the sales directors on. And I know y'all probably have some things that came to your mind when I'm talking that you could just add to as far as goal setting or something you've done to help you reach goals during the year. So Sayla, you're just the first one I'm looking at up there. She's a master on this. So Sayla, why don't you join me over here and give us some thoughts of your thoughts on goal setting and some tips that maybe could help everybody.
Hey, everybody. Those are great reminders, Cleta. And, one of the things that I would add to it is not only write the goal or set the goal and write the goal, but make it a non-negotiable goal that no matter what you have set, let's say directorship. And when I became a director, the story goes that I left my house that night and I told them I would not be back until I was a sales director, which I needed 9 people that night and their orders. So it could have been that I could have never returned home, but I did. I was determined. I had said I wanted to be a sales director for many, many years. I had talked about it, thought about it, cried about it, written it down, all that stuff. But until I decided that no matter what, I was going to do it. And I had done a lot of work ahead. So it wasn't like Cleta said, where that was something that I was saying that I had not done the work so I could produce the results. I did not know where they were coming from that night. But you really have to set a goal and be determined. I have set several fitness goals and really accomplished those. And my goal this year is to set some non-negotiable Mary Kay goals. And I am going to achieve those because really and truly, it is what you decide and what you talk about, you bring about. And once you decide, like she said, you just automatically start heading towards that. Will you hit obstacles? Yes. When I ran a half marathon, honestly, I did not think I would make it across the finish line. But I said, even if I had to crawl, cry, or they had to come pick me up, I was going to get across the line. And that's how we have to do a Mary Kay, because a lot of times I have let my family and different ones, sort of derail my goals and what I wanted to do. And it's really easy. I mean, that's really good reason. We have really good reasons not to hit the goal. But honestly, we can take care of our families and do everything else and hit the goals. So what a great call. I love it. And I'm excited. It makes me want to turn on the Rocky music.
Sayla, talk to them a minute. You know how you've told me before, sometimes you say that I have to I had to talk to myself. You know how you go, like sometimes you get up and you're like, I have to go, no. And you like give yourself a talking to. Talk to them about that a minute because it applies so much to Mary Kay too. When let's say you want to go watch your favorite show, but you know you should be making you told yourself you were going to get on the phone and make some calls, but you really your husband and your kids are in there watching whatever. So how do you talk about that? How you have to have a talking to yourself.
Now we're gonna think I'm crazy about it.
No, I mean, I think it's something that they need to hear.
Yeah, well, you know, when like you just as soon go sit and watch American Idol or something for the Sunday night that boss babe call, or your girlfriend calls and she says, hey, let's go have lunch. Or I mean, they're really good things that you could do. You could say, well, I could go and do some networking and go to lunch, but what I have to do, because I'm really good, I'm really good at telling my children what they should be doing, because I feel like I totally can see what they cannot, right? And so sometimes I have to talk to myself that way. And I will say, girl, what do you think you are doing? No, you are not. You are going to sit yourself right down here and make these calls. And I just have to step outside myself, whether it's fitness or like if it's getting up at 4 o'clock every morning, you know, I don't want to do it. I'll say, no, you are doing it. You're doing it today. And then tomorrow we'll talk about it. But today you're doing it. And this afternoon I was making some calls. And, you know, it's really easy to, you know, not do that. But I just had to say, no, you're going to do it. You promised yourself. You're not going to disappoint yourself. Because, y'all, when we lie to ourselves, it's the greatest disservice when we tell ourselves we're going to do something. And then for whatever reason, we don't do it. We're not fooling anyone, especially ourselves. We have to lay down with ourselves at night. We're the only ones that know what we promised ourselves we would do. And so that little girl inside of you deserves for you to keep your promise to yourself. I'm talking to me because I've said I wanted a Cadillac for a million years. I've been in 25 years and we're getting a Cadillac by Christmas. I know it's a big goal, but it's doable when I decide, and I'm going to probably have to get the Kleenex box out and do a little crying along the way, but we are going to be doing things.
And, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about, and I think that, you know, when we talked about the things that kind of can trip you up with your goals is when you go from, let's say you are making 0 calls right now. You have 0 bookings with 0 calls and 0 leads. And then you set a goal and you go, all right, I'm going to make 55 phone calls this afternoon. So it's so big from what you're doing that you know you can't make 55. So instead of making 10 or 5, you do nothing because it's like an all or nothing. Mm-hmm. And so that's where you really want to say, if you're starting at the like no activity zone, which I know you guys are boss babes, so probably not talking to none of y'all. I'm talking to y'all's recruits. Okay, you can tell your recruits this. You're starting from nothing. Then say, I'm going to make 5 phone calls this afternoon. And then what happens is once you make 5, you may go, well, I can go ahead and make 5 more. And then you can prove yourself that it's not so bad. It's kind of like someone that let's talk about fitness. Let's say you want to start walking or running and you're like, I'm going to walk for 2 hours in the morning. But then you get up and go, I don't have time. And so instead of walking for 10 minutes, you know, and, you know, you've always heard walk 30 minutes a day. Well, you could just walk 3 times for 10 minutes. I mean, go to the mailbox and come back a few times. But people don't start because they make it so huge that they can't accomplish all of it. So really think about that, you guys, on the first day and the second day to get it warmed up. Would you agree, Sayla, on that too?
Yeah, and I would even say there is such power in one. If you simply set a goal, a daily goal, like the 5 days of the work week, to make 1 call, like I did this thing where I did 1 call, 1 letter, 1, you know, just simple, because you guys, you can do more, But at a minimum, if you just do one, the power of that consistency it will really begin to set the momentum. And you will begin, you can say, okay, I'm going to do one call a day, one call a day. If you have 5 names, you can call 5 names, but at a minimum, you're going to do one. And your business won't even, in just a couple of weeks, it'll look so different. Like I did one call, I sent out one marketing video, and I wrote one letter a day. And I'm telling you, you look around and you're like, wow, it changes things, just the consistency. Mainly, you're not talking that trash in your head. And maybe
That's right. That's right. That's right. All right, I'm gonna bring Christine. Christine has a goal to do the pink Cadillac. So Christine's, I know she's been really talking about some goal setting this last week, and she communicated with me a couple of times. And so Christine, tell me what maybe some tips that you might have for everybody from tonight.
Thank you, Cleta, for tonight's call. Everything that both of you said was amazing. And one of the tips that Cleta gave to me personally that I've really been thinking about on my heart was it's not only a decision, but a mindset. And so whatever your goal is, you have to really believe in that goal. And it has to be in your head and in your mind already done. It has to be already done. No doubt, just it's done. And you just have to do the WORK like we started the call with. And so first off, it's a decision, right? It's a mindset, which the mindset part sometimes is the tricky part, right? So you got to work on your mind. I think a minimum of 1 to 2 hours a day, because it's so easy to go into that fear mode or that doubt mode. And one thing I heard on a call recently too, that was inspiring is from Jamie Taylor, is to embrace 3 things. When you set a goal, embrace the work, right? Like the work that it takes to get there, even if it's all up to you, right? You're willing to do the work, run around, get it done. The wins, embrace the wins. So get used to winning. Do your 6 most important list every day. There's a place to win 6 times every day, right? Sometimes it's those small wins that helps your confidence and your mindset. Like Selah said, that one call she made, that one marketing thing she did. I forget the third one, but she did like 3 things every day. That was a place for her to win every day. And that helped her reach her goal. And the last thing is tracking. If we don't track, it's not going to come together, right? We've learned that in this company. Track your weekly sales, track your interviews, figure out what it takes to get into DIQ in the next month, right? Or get into your red jacket, or be a star consultant, or whatever your goal is. So I broke it down, thanks to Cleta and a couple other Cadillac directors this week, that it takes about between 100 and 125 people approximately to be a Cadillac unit. So Misha, who's actually in our unit, God love her, right? She actually got excited, right? And she created a Cadillac poster, like a little sheet. And it was so cute with little Cadillacs on it. She said, how many unit members do we have? And I said, after attrition, it's 51 on July 1st. So she made 51 pink ones and the rest of them of the 125 gray. And that was such a loving thing to do for our unit. So thank you, Misha, from the bottom of my heart. And so I put that up on the wall, just like Cleta, where I can see it, right? I got my dry erase, I got my posters, we're ready to run the race. So embrace the work, embrace the wins, and embrace the tracking.
Very good. Thank you, Christy. Listen, you can tell when people when people have a new goal, they just get more focused, and you're like, she's on it. She's gonna do it. She's gonna do it. So thank you so much for that. Okay, Miss Michigan, let's bring her up here. Tell us what you think. Maureen just finished 1 year of being a sales director, 1 full year, because she debuted July 1 last year. And so she's had it's a whole learning year, and she has done so fabulous. So Maureen, tell them something that you would like to share tonight.
Thanks, Cleta, and thanks, Selah. My hand is hurting from what you said, and Christine. That was very powerful. I can feel your excitement, Christine. That's so awesome. There was a couple things that I learned. There was a lot of things that I learned in this past year. But one of the things that I noticed right away when I started thinking about goals for this seminar year was that when I was still in my red jacket in January of 2021, trying to get Cleta to adopt me, I was taking a course and it had us to do this mission statement, and I wrote one, and it was amazing because I did the exercise. It told you how to do it, and I read it every day without fail. So I just wanted to share real quick. I'm sure all of us, the consultants and everybody, has already kind of figured out, I'm going to be in a red jacket, I'm going to be a director, I'm going to get a car, I'm going to whatever. So you write your mission statement about it. But the four things that really get me, because I'm more emotional than I believe I am, you take that thing you want to do and you close your eyes. So close your eyes and you think about, what do you see as when you've reached the goal, you're wearing that red jacket? Like what do you see when you're getting it off the hanger and you got to do that whole thing? And then the second thing is, who's standing around you, right? Who's standing around you that when you're putting that red jacket on, right? And then 3, what are they saying to you, right? What are they saying to you? And then 4, how does it make you feel? Like, how does it make you feel? And I had that written out. I was reading it every day, front and back, the mission statement, doing the whole 4th thing. And then I became a director, and then I didn't write another one. And I'm like, duh, Maureen. So anyways, I rewrote mine for this year, and I'm super excited about it. The second thing that I noticed when I was closing in the last 3 months of the seminar year was I kind of felt a little scattered. I wasn't tracking like a good girl, which that changes this year. But what I did realize that because I was working, right? We're working. What I realized is I tracked it out, and I don't know if this shows up or not, but when I started tracking things out, when I realized how many active consultants I would need to hit some of my goals, or how many qualified I'd need to hit some of my goals, that when I would hit the big one, it just trickled down into all these other things that I would reach goals with that I didn't even know. Like, I should be knowing the promotions, right? We should all know, if you hit the big goal, what are the little baby promotions that you're going to get as well? Like, there's a lot for us to earn as we reach for our goals. So anyways, those were my 2 things.
So good, Maureen. I like the way Maureen, one of the things when she said she was going to go for directorship, she had a very strong selling business. And she was I call her, she was a little worker bee, because she knew how to sell Mary Kay. She had already invested in her business for many years with inventory and doing parties. And so it's just a matter of tweaking a little bit of the team building to get that goal. And so, Maureen, just so proud of you finishing that year and the lead strong that you finished. And, I know the best is yet to come for this next year, because you do learn a lot. And it is fun when you get to a certain level and Mary Kay puts a promotion out there and you're like, oh, I'm going to get that. That's because I'm doing this, so that I'm already going to get that, and that, because I'm going to do this up here. Right. And so it does make a difference on there. Sharon, would you like to contribute anything over here for us tonight?
Just wanted to say thank you so much for this lesson. I think I've coasted since seminar stopped. I mean, it hasn't even started, and so it kind of woke me up a little bit. But I wanted to just speak to the girls and the ladies. Make sure your deserve level is high. You deserve this success, and you're willing to work for it. And I don't know, the Lord just put that on my heart, that make sure you know how important you are to Him and to your fellow people in Mary Kay and to the world, and just treasure how smart you are and how much fun you are, and why wouldn't someone want to book with you and party with you? And I just think sometimes we beat ourselves up, and don't do that. That's not how he created us. And so just be good to yourself and work hard. And I'm looking at my office, and it's neat and it's clean. Hallelujah. And that that was my big goal. Isn't that horrible? But for some reason I couldn't get it together because it just looked like a junk pile. And so I said, Sharon, you are doing this weekend. This room is going to sparkle. Well, it's not quite sparkling yet, but I can see the floor, and and I got rid of the boxes. So do that too for yourself. Get your office ready to rumble, because you if you don't, you kind of like make excuses. Well, I need to do this before I do that. And so just like Cleta said, so that's my takeaway. Be good to yourself. You deserve it. And we're all going to be wearing crowns this time next year.
I love it. And one of the things I want y'all to think about is that if you're new to Mary Kay, you may not realize this, but next year will be the 60th year celebration. And so I have been in when we celebrated the 30th year, the 40th year, the 50th year, and now the 60th year. And it is like you want to win anytime, but this, like when it's one of the Mary Kay anniversary ones, there's always extra gifts, prizes, recognition, and fanfare. So it is the stage that you want to get your beautiful self on. I promise you, like if you have never been on the big stage for one of the courts, sales, sharing, or unit club, you've got to do that this year. You absolutely have to. So we're going to kind of close out with this one verse right here. And I want you to just kind of write this verse down. It may help you, and I want to compliment each and every one of you that are on here, especially those of you that get on every week. And I noticed tonight, some of y'all got on an hour early because you get confused with the Eastern and the Central. I won't mention any names, Karen and Lynn, but anyway, y'all don't know, but I get an email of who gets on Zoom. I'm like, why these girls get on Zoom an hour early? I go, they're confused. But I thought this was really good. It's Proverbs 15:22. It says, without counsel, plans fail, but with many advisors, they succeed. So you guys, look at the women before you who have achieved what you want to do. Don't take advice from people who are not where you want to go. Why would I ask a new consultant how to become a national? So if you're a consultant, why would you get counsel from someone at your same level or beneath when you're trying to go up? So get wise counsel on the things that you're going for. And there's always someone that can give you wise counsel. We're the directors are on here, the ones that talk every week, but I can assure you that I talk to people way above me to get wise counsel. And some of the things they do is they recommend different reading materials that really have expanded my mind. And so when who was it? Was it Christine that said, work on your mind 2 hours a day? Honestly, through Bible study and through working different books that have really helped me. One of them, did I put it back in my drawer here? It's called, okay, so I cleaned up my office to sparkle because we had to take pictures before we decided to list our house with a realtor. And so, I took piles of stuff and I put it over here. So I don't know where my little book is, but anyway, it was called The X Factor. But there's leadership books and business books that will help expand your mind as well. So the Bible is my go-to. We have a director Bible study that we do once a week. And just some different things like that have really helped me stay grounded and stay focused. So if you're not doing one single thing, consultants, to improve yourself, that would be where you might want to start that too. Like, what could you do to have improve yourself? Atomic Habits, that is a great, but there's so many of them, really good ones out there. So you guys, this is the first week. I know a lot of people took off for the 4th of July. And so but now it's time to get back to work. Okay. We do have seminar coming up, but that's okay. It's not like seminar is 30 days, it's 3 or 4 days. And so, and a lot of you aren't even going. So hopefully some of you will watch it and still get inspired, but let's make July count. Many of races won at the starting gate. And that just means people that aren't sleeping in July are going to not have to play catch up like everybody else. So that's what a boss babe is, right? So you guys, thank you so much. And last week I informed y'all and I said we were not having the call on the 17th, but we are. It's the next week I will be in the air. We'll have a call next week. So we'll see y'all next week on the 17th. And then on that 24th, we will not have the call. Okay, but then we'll have the next one. Okay, so you guys have a great, great week, and we will see y'all. Make something count this week. Make some phone calls. Don't be afraid to make some phone calls. Thank you for our beautiful directors and all your tips. They were inspiring to me as well. And I sure appreciate you guys jumping on here every week. Okay, we'll see everybody.